Basketball fans, welcome back. So yesterday, the BAL finals came to a close, and we had the Ahli Tripoli going ahead and winning their first ever BAL championship in their franchise's history, and also for Libya. And Petro de Luanda were not able to go back to back and defend their championship. And this game, the final score was 88-67. So going into this game, I must say I had no clear favorites. And even as I mentioned in the third place game, it was very hard to call this game because both teams were able to stand the test of time and they were able to go ahead and do the unthinkable, especially for Petro, looking at how different their roster was, able to take apart USM, they're able to take apart Al Ittihad, and they were able to even go ahead and make the BAL final, something I had not seen coming. But if you look at the Al Tripoli, all roads led them to the BAL finals, and them being in the finals was not a surprise. And them being able to go ahead and win it, I can say it didn't catch me off guard, but there was a high likelihood that they're going to go ahead and win it because of how well they played. Even despite the fact that they lost their classification games to Al Ittihad, they never looked back, and Al Tripoli went ahead and won the whole thing. We saw John Jackie's Boise. He was able to make the all BAL team, and also we saw he was able to win the MVP award. And if you look at how this championship meant to Libya, especially they're able to right the wrongs of the Al Ahly Benghazi team for last year, it was a feel-good moment for Libya, especially John Jackie's Boise also making history as the first ever Senegalese to win the BAL championship. It spoke volumes to the grind that this guy had because in BAL Season 3, as Douanes lost to Al Ahly, and John Jackie's Boise was part of that as Douanes team, and he was not able to win the BAL championship. At that time, he made it all the way to the BAL finals, was not able to win it. So this was a feel-good moment for him, being given that recognition. And also, BAL also released their all BAL first teams and all BAL defensive teams. So this was quite interesting because we also saw the BAL Defensive Player of the Year going to Aliou Diarra, somebody who has been a defensive threat. And John Jackie's Boise, he has shown that he's going to go down in history as a BAL all-time great. So in the all BAL first team, we had John Jackie's Boise there. We had Jalen Adams, Majok Deng, Patrick Garner, and Aliou Diarra. So don't get me wrong, Patrick Garner, he was that guy that was hitting those shots early in the game. But the way that Al Tripoli had game planned for this team, this Petro de Luanda team, was the difference. And Petro de Luanda, I don't think they were ready for an Al Tripoli because that win against Al Ittihad gave them a lot of confidence because they're able to show that they can upset a North African team, especially of Egypt's caliber. And going in, I even saw like the people who were talking about these finals, and there are a lot of people who are supporting Petro de Luanda to go back to back. I held off my commentary on or prediction or talking about who's going to win because it was going to be a very, very difficult game to call. And John Jackie's Boise was the guy that was the difference. And he was able to go ahead and win the BAL MVP. And he also made that all defensive team. So John Jackie's Boise, coming off the bench, he has been one of the most reliable options for the Al Tripoli side. He made the all defensive team. Obadia Noel, Caleb Agada, Tefalena Jr., and Aliou Diarra there. So this is a very good thing. And I must say the game was great. And even looking towards the Al Tripoli side, especially the way they started the game, they started off very strong. And I felt like the Petro de Luanda team were not ready for that aggressive basketball, especially in the second half. Because in the second half, that's where all things fell apart for Petro, especially being limited to a 13-point fourth quarter. That was what had set them back. And the way they were set back at that time, they were not able to dig themselves out of that hole. And the guys that were the most reliable ended up getting limited to the least amount of points. So Chiledanda 11, Patrick Garner 11, Abubakar Gaku 12. So we had players being limited in their scoring and they're not able to break like even the 15 or 20 point mark. And Asimara was the leader. He had a game high 22 points, and he has been one of those reliable options for the Ahli Tripoli. And he had 22 points in there. Fabian White Jr. had 18, John Jacques Boise 12. So John Jacques Boise had that streak, and especially in that conference, was averaging 24 points per game. But looking at the fact that it was a high-stakes game, team basketball was the key. And that is what had led them to even go ahead and dominate and win. And Asimara had a strong double-double in this one of 22 points and 19 boards. So those second chance points and those defensive boards were the difference, and they helped the Ahli Tripoli, because Ahli Tripoli, they didn't have a very good field goal percentage. They shot 39% from the field, but their 2-point field goals, they made sure to capitalize on that of 46%. And this was a chess match, especially looking at the way these two teams play. Petro de Luanda are a sub-Saharan African team, and they are very good at picking up their spots and shooting the ball, especially from downtown. But if you look at the Ahli Tripoli, they're a team that have specialized in an outside game. They know how to take the outside shots. They have multiple players who can hit the three efficiently. And this one, they didn't have a very good or efficient shot from downtown, but still, they were able to capitalize in drawing fouls and going to the line, because they averaged 81% attempts from the line. So that's out of 22 attempts, 18 went in from downtown. So their ability to draw fouls and go to the line was the difference down the stretch. And 52 rebounds, out rebounding the Petro de Luanda side. Petro de Luanda looked very small in there, even despite the fact that Petro were able to lead in assists and steals. Still, it wasn't enough, because Ahli Tripoli were right there behind them. Jalen Adams, he led in assists with 7 assists. Chile Dandao, he had 8. It's unfortunate the Petro de Luanda side kind of capitulated in this one, because I thought that they would have made this game interesting. I was hoping to see a very, very close margin. But this one, it was an all-defensive affair, especially coming from Ahli Tripoli. And they made sure to limit Petro de Luanda star players to the least amount of points to guarantee the win. And looking at this game, I must say this was a very, very interesting season. I mean, looking at even last year, BAL season 4, Petro de Luanda were in the same position, but they matched up against a Libya team in Al Ahly Benghazi, and they were able to limit their productivity. And the stars that were there, we had Nicolas Forst and Carlos Moraes. I can even say Nicolas Forst was the guy who carried Petro de Luanda down the stretch. Without a player of that productivity who was able to knock down the 3 ball in a timely manner, it really hurt them in the end in this game yesterday. And not having a consistency, especially in scoring, an efficient offense, because as much as Petro, they went ahead and got some Kelosele, they got a couple of players who could have assisted them to win regular season games and also in the playoff run. But when the lights shine the brightest, that is when the stars that you signed, that's where they show out. And that's what you saw with John Jacques Boise. Because John Jacques Boise, when I saw John Jacques Boise was in Al Ahly Tripoli, I always felt like there's always a possibility this team might have a deep playoff run in the BAL postseason. And looking at how the landscape of BAL, the team's game plan for those situations, because if you look at Petro, even the fact that they were able to go ahead and make it to the finals, there was not that guy who can be able to carry them when they have a huge scoring slump, especially in this case in the second half, because being limited to 16 in the third quarter and 13 in the fourth quarter was the thing that set them back in this one. And I'm not sure if Petro are going to be able to get back to the finals. The BAL postseason is not a given that you can be able to make it back to the finals. But the Petro de Luanda did their best in this one. But the better team in this case was the Al Ahly Tripoli. And I must say, this has been a very good BAL coverage. I've enjoyed looking at the BAL games all the way from the conference games to the BAL postseason. And I've taken a lot of time in putting together these types of videos to give you a comprehensive analysis on what really happened in this BAL game. So, yeah, I mean, congratulations to the Al Ahly Tripoli side. The Libya, they're slowly coming into the map. And you are seeing a Libyan team going ahead and dominating and becoming difference makers, especially uh, seizing that opposition as one of the best North African teams, because we have seen Tunisia, we have not seen Tunisia win it, we have seen Egypt win it, and we have seen Angola win it. So the North African teams have shown that they are very good. I know there's different signings that have been made for players who play for different parts of the continent, but the style of basketball in North African teams remains undefeated, because even in BAL season 1, Zamalek won it. BAL season 2, USM won it. Zamalek is from Egypt. Um, USM is from Tunisia. Ahli season 3, when they won it, was from Egypt. Season 4, the first ever Sub-Saharan team was in Africa to win it was Angola. And right now we're seeing it's back, and we're seeing Libya won it. And they were very close to winning it last year, but this one they're able to break through with another group of guys in a different squad. So it is really so. I am very excited. I feel like BAL is changing every single year, and even the players who were able to even win the all BAL first teams, they were able to go ahead and do that in a spectacular fashion. Don't get me wrong. Like, these guys were very good. Alou Diarra was great. He was the main reason as to why the APR team were able to make it to the semis. Patrick Garner was a guy that was able to hit timely 3-point shots, timely mid-range shots, and timely layups down the stretch to help Petro make that finals run. Majok Deng was great, despite the fact that Alitiad were not able to get the job done in the semis. Majok Deng's performance and his productivity still remains up there as one of those players that are very reliable. Jalen Adams and Janjakis Boise, coming from the same team, they never disappointed at all. And they were very good players at that. And no one can take away the fact that they both Jalen Adams and Janjakis Boise earned this championship. Even when it comes to the all BAL defensive teams, Caleb Agade and John Jacques Boise, coming from the same team, they both made the BAL all defensive teams, and they showed that defense wins championships. And being a person who can be called upon to rise to the occasion, especially when the lights shine the brightest in the biggest stage in African basketball, they picked that call and they said that they're gonna get the job done for the Libyan side, and that was great. And Obadiah Noel from APR, he was very good, especially down the stretch. He didn't have the biggest stat lines, but he was able to hit timely shots down the stretch, especially when it came to even the conference games. He is the one who knocked off my Nerbs Thunder in the last game when they won it and notched the second seed in the Nile Conference. They were able to do that. He was able to do that, and he was great. Tefa Leonard Jr. is a young swingman from MBB. I mean, MBB were not able to make it to the BAL postseason, but Tefa Leonard Jr., don't get me wrong, this guy is certified baller, and he was able to show that despite the team that he played for, he's still one of the great players in this season. And Alou Diarra, man, this guy, he was just insane, especially with the hops, with the ability to go ahead and knock down them shots, especially from inside, and also be that block guy and rim protector. So it is what it is. So this has been a very good season, and I'm excited. I have loved it, and I can't wait for the road to BAL and BAL season 6. Hopefully, the Al Tripoli can be able to get back, and they also can be able to and also be able to defend their championship. So Petro were not able to defend their championship, and it was a sad situation. So it is what it is. So do drop me your comments down in the comments section down below. What you think about this? I'm gonna talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.